Hey everybody, it's Marty, the JavaScript party, and my buddy Rhett. We're just sitting here coding. I think that this video is going to be like I'm going to kind of change gears a little bit. I think I'm going to have a lot more time on my hands here in the near future. So I'm going to probably like start. So right now, what happens is I upload a video and then I pre set it up for like 2 days in the future. But the problem, so that's good. That's fine because it comes out, I think, at midnight every day, like 2 days from now. So that kind of like if I were to miss a day or whatever, it'd be kind of nice. It's kind of nice because then I can just make one up or whatever and just have a daily routine of videos that go up. But I don't know if that, okay, so that's good. But the problem is I kind of would like to be able to spend a little bit more time working on this project. And I don't think that, I think it might make sense for me, like on my sort of my journey to start doing this live, like just go live on, like it's something I couldn't have even imagined a year ago. And then like, but 5 years ago, I couldn't imagine recording myself coding and uploading. So going live and just talking to people in real time, if anybody goes to my live, but even if it doesn't, there's still a lot to learn by going live. So that's that. So basically, I probably won't go live until the day after tomorrow for the first time. And I probably, hopefully, maybe if I'm lucky, we'll get the opportunity to sort of go live for like 4 or 5 hours straight. So that will change things. But it would be nice to get more done. Anyways, in the last video, I said, oh, I think this is a good time to commit. But in this new sort of age, this version of this application, I don't want to do commits until I have unit tests where I want them and end-to-end tests where I want them. I do not think I've made any changes that will affect end-to-end testing, but we definitely should try it out, just make sure it still works. But unit tests will definitely be impacted because I would like to keep 100% code coverage, and this clearly won't have 100%. But this is where sort of the benefit, I think, of unit tests really comes in. Is then when I was looking at this a few minutes ago, I was like, man, these things are going to be really, really hard to unit test because, like, what do I test against, right? And there's a concept that I mentioned from time to time. It's called a pure program, and that's like something that doesn't depend on the state. And I guess this is fairly pure. This is 100% pure, but it doesn't really return anything. And so it would be good if it returned something so that when I run my unit tests, I'll have something to check against. And I don't know, creating meshes inside of unit tests and stuff like that should be interesting in and of itself, and uh, something that will be good. But so, anyways, I want to return my mesh here, right? So right now I am not returning the mesh, so I'm going to say return mesh, right? So the mesh gets updated based on what is in the animation object. I don't know why this is out 3 mesh. I want to return a 3 mesh. All right, so we got our 3 mesh. We're returning it, and I want to make this one private. Um, I don't think anyone should try to update anything directly. Um, and whenever I go to animate like lights and groups and stuff like that, I don't know if it's going to make sense to like make this more generalized so that it could take a light or a group or whatever, or to like make this function update mesh property for animation. I'm just not sure what I want to do, but let's just make sure nothing breaks. And then over here, I would like to return the mesh because the mesh is what should change. And we are adding sort of a layer of abstraction here so that like it is possible that I might make some change up here that isn't down there. So I think this code is way, way more unit testable. And I think it's just better. It's better code. And I do think at this point I have to kind of give a check mark, score 1 for the unit test. thing, because I do think this is better code now than it does. I don't, and I will emphasize, I think it's better code. I'm not sure about that. But anyway, so now let's run our end-to-end test, which I believe will not be impacted by this. And if it is impacted by this, it will be good for me to learn that. I cannot remember exactly how to run an npm. I mean a Cypress, so I want to do Cypress open. npm run Cypress colon open. Hit the Alt left button to get back to where I was, which I have no idea why I wanted to get back to where I was, and type in npm run Cypress colon open. Let's let that happen. And I remember this takes a while. Um, do, 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 do. Tell you, I have definitely toyed with the idea of becoming a QA person. I feel like I think I can code with anybody at this point. I just think that like like doing sprints and stuff like that has just become like too crazy for me. You know, like I don't know, man. It's just these meetings that they make you do with these where you have to like just say how much time everything's going to take and all that. It's just too much. But I do think I could do QA. I've definitely been writing code, trying to in like guess what QA is going to do and try to test everything before QA gets it so that it just passes. So so that's good. We got a green. This is what we were hoping. So we learned nothing. Um, and I feel like that is how you want to look at things, right? Like if it had failed, that probably would have been a good thing because we would learn something. Now, don't get me wrong, I get that like when you're like working and it's like agile and you're trying to get things done in 2 weeks and stuff like that, that you know, trying to run things is tough. But I mean, trying to, you know, like when things fail and trying to look at it as, oh, this is a good thing I get to learn is probably not great. But okay, so now let's run our tests. And I think everything will pass, but I think that we will have a lower code coverage. I'm just trying to double think because we did have something pass before, fail before, and it was because I had changed the name of a service, but we didn't change the name of the service this time. So npm run test. But I feel like this application is going to be really good for sort of kind of making like an online, hey, you should hire me as a QA person for automated stuff. Um, because, you know, it's going to be like when I can finally get a UI and stuff on this, it's going to be really cool. Like it's going to be a very, very cool set of um, like the UI of it changing things like in my last application, if I could have done that in um, if I could have had a Cypress of that, I could have made some like eclipses and just really cool stuff. All right, so everything passed as expected. We had 9 specs, they all passed. It doesn't. We even had our new animation service get created, but so let's go ahead and I don't think it works to just kill this thing. I think we want to. Oh, we have a console. That's another. Okay, another win for a unit test is the fact that it's going to make me get rid of this console log. Now, I probably would have got rid of the console log anyways, but because, you know, before I did check-in, I always check. But I think, you know, the sooner, the better. And so now we got our console log gone that I got from unit test. Now for the moment of truth. I don't know what that was all about. I Yes, the unit tests are still running, although I don't see the URL for them anywhere. Um, so let me, should I run them again? Yeah, I guess I need to run them again just out of pure discipline since we did get rid of that console log. And it would not be the first time I ever saw a console log being removed breaking in unit tests. I know that sounds crazy, but a console log does change the flow. And sometimes that little change in the flow can cause a unit test to fail. Um, Now, we can argue all day long whether that's a true failure or not, but you know, it is just the reality. Okay, so that is still working. And it says we have 100% code coverage, which is a bit disappointing, but I guess it's not surprising because when this thing gets created, it actually generates one. Um, so that's kind of a bummer because, you know, we have to remember, like, seeing that go drop would have been better, but our animation service spec doesn't really do anything. Ugh, we still have this issue. Um, I wonder, it would be interesting to see if I did like an ng update to the latest version of Angular, that would be um, if that would be fixed. What are we on? We are on Angular 19.00. I think core is the one you would look at. And then let's go to ChatGPT. What is the latest version of Angular? Nineteen 19.13. So they've actually made some pretty good pretty like significant changes because I'm at 19.00 and they're at 19.83. So how do I upgrade my 19.0.0 version to the latest? Question mark. Now, this stinks because you have to commit it in order to, I think you'll have to, yeah, it won't let me do this with uncommitted code. So I guess I will, I guess we should click on this and see what the breaking changes from 9.0 are. Oh, so there's 9.2. Well, that's the next. So I don't say anything about um, this kind of seems like it might be a little bit, but probably not, about fixing the wow. Um, I want to fix the browser so that the IDE so that it doesn't think that it's the wrong version of Jasmine. Let's do a Control F for wrong one. Control F Jazz. So there are 5 instances of the word Jasmine. Guard the Jasmine hooks. Do not invoke Jasmine. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it'll fix it, maybe it won't. But it definitely is worth a try. But unfortunately, we cannot, I don't think we can do the upgrade on uncommitted code. So that's where we are. But I do want to, before I do a commit, I want to make this a little beefier. So I don't know exactly how to do this. I think we want to create a ThreeJS mesh. And so, we may end up adding that to like the for each. But for now, I think I'll probably just put it in the it. I'm probably ahead of. So where do we create our mesh? So here's where we create our mesh. And see, we need our geometry and our material. But the problem is we don't have one of these things. So we need one of these. And we probably want just to create one of these things just like that. So we need, when I say one of these things, I mean we want one of these ST showtime objects that describes our entire showtime thing. Now this is where things can get so insanely out of control. So we go now, I don't think we need the whole, all we want is this mesh, right? And we actually want this sort of thing. I guess we should just grab the whole scene. I mean, why not? Why not just grab the whole scene? At some point we'll probably be like, we shouldn't have grabbed the whole scene. But for now. So we want to declare this thing. I guess we want to declare it. I think it works like this. I don't know. Okay, so I think we probably get a, will it allow us to import? Add const. So I don't know what just happened there. So it added the const in the wrong place. Const. And now it doesn't know what an ST scene is. So let's go ahead and see. Yep, it knows how to import that. And it doesn't know what to do with 3. And if I remember correctly, it never knows what to do with 3. So let's come back over here into app. And I do think that this is like making my understanding of everything, like just forcing me to have a deeper understanding of everything, or enforcing what I already understand. All right, so before each, I believe what's happening is it will create one of these. Now, let's just see if that works. It seems like it should, but I'll tell you, just never know. And yeah, running unit tests does provide a good bit of dead time. It's a good time to, especially once the unit, like if your test suite is huge, it's a good time to, while you're waiting for it to run, to go get some coffee or chat with one of your friends or something like that. I always wonder if that's even like kind of part of one of the benefits of unit tests is sort of just forcing developers um, to take some time. Um, so now I believe, okay, I cannot remember for sure, but I believe I can say this console.log, and I can say like st scene. Well, maybe not. Is it maybe this dot? No. Then I remember doing this before, but I cannot remember. Maybe I probably need to do it up with the service. Now I do think it's technically there, but it just like Angular doesn't know where it is. see what we got here. Okay. So now I don't think that this console log will show up here, which is a bit of a pain in the butt. I kind of wish it would, um, but let's see. We do the inspect. Let's go ahead and break it off of this since we're already limited in space. And then go to our console log. Okay, yeah, so, well, oh, this is our object. So yeah, this is our ST meshes. Okay, so we have our meshes, we have our ST meshes, so I don't know, man. Maybe I don't want to do it that way. Maybe I want to do it just create a mesh, because why add this level of, it doesn't seem like it's that complicated, but man, it will get, like, it just, like I said, complexity is kind of cumulative. And then it's an ST mesh, I think. And there's only one of them. So we'll get rid of this. We'll get rid of that. Oh. I think we need to get rid of all of that. Nope. We still need the animations. So do I just have an extra? I think I might have an extra curly brace. Yep. Okay, so equals const mesh equal st mesh equals. And I think it's supposed to be capital. Oh, we don't want this st scene up here. And then I think this is supposed to be a capital st mesh. And I think we need to import it with our blue thing here. And I think we should get rid of our scene. I like how it didn't used to always do this, but I like how it looks like it's putting it into alphabetical order, which is pretty cool. Okay, and then we're going to console log st mesh. Oh, mesh. And I really should name it st mesh, because a mesh is a ThreeJS mesh, and that's just in our world, but it matters, I think, personally. Personal opinion. We go, and now we have our mesh. All right, so basically that exists. And so the way I did it here is like outside. I believe there's a way you can do it in this before each. And maybe before each we can reset it. So we can say we could actually do this. If we don't do it, then what happens is if anybody alters anything, if any of these tests alter anything, then what will happen is it alters it for all of them. And I don't believe you can count on the timing of different tests being run. So you can get really weird results. So it might make sense to turn this into a let. And since unfortunately we can't update, we can't create like just an empty thing. We have to sort of just redo this whole thing again, which really is not, like, it seems like a lot, but it's really not that big of a deal, because you can, in the code, you can just go like this in the IDE, and you don't have to look at that. A lot of times people will do like imports and stuff of a library that does something like this. I think that's a mistake. In my personal experience, most people usually end up getting very, very confused when you do that. And you end up with just tons of all kinds of crazy code inside of these imports. But so now at this point, it's going to get reset every single time. So like if we were to look in here and we look at like ST rotation is 0, 0, and then let's create another one again. And so we'll get 2 of them this time. And I don't know where that Gen 1 is. We definitely need to get rid of that though. And see how the order has changed now? Like whatever was calling Gen 1 before and Gen 2 is now happening after. And that's what I was kind of trying to say is that um, you're going to have situations where you get um, I mean, if you start, you can easily get yourself in a situation where everything seems um, like where like you end up inadvertently being dependent on the order of things happening. All right, so I'm going to do this because trying to look at non-primitive things in the console can be tricky. Sometimes you end up with unexpected results. Okay, so now I think this should be very clear, but at this point I can say and then one of them will be 5 and one will be 0. And see, the second one ran first, um, which is like, I don't think anybody would expect that. But the thing is you got to keep in mind that you can't control the order of these things. So if you were changing them within here and you thought that one was going to happen before the other, it can cause really weird bugs. Um, and when you end up with like a huge, when you end up with a huge uh, um, suite of these things, if you're not really careful with the way you do these assignments, things can just get out of hand very quickly. All right, so we got rid of our that. Okay, so now basically what we want to do is it should modify x, rotation x. Okay, so we expect this rotation x. So we expect this to be 0 at first, right? So, and we don't, oh, actually we have another, okay, so the next thing we need to do, actually, I'm a little bit out of order. I need to create an actual ThreeJS module. Um, ThreeJS mesh. So let's go to our over here, app component. And okay, so we can create our ThreeJS geometry and our material with the information that is in our scene, but we don't, well, that's in our mesh, but it's obviously not the same thing. And this is also this is just a great opportunity just take a look at like, okay, did I do this in a good way? And I do think I did this in a good way. Obviously, this is not how it's going to stay, but I think it makes perfect sense to come over here and then have to tweak it. Um, so basically this, I think it's st mesh. Oops. And sometimes, doing these unit tests is a QA task. I have seen that before. It's a little hard. It's very difficult for that to be a QA task because um, the problem is that uh, you do have to write the code in a unit testable way. So the QA tester has to sort of have some influence on how the code is written because like I mean you guys saw right off the bat that I was like, oh crap, I got to change the way this code goes so that I can write unit tests for it. So you have to have a pretty sharp QA person if they're going to be writing QA tests, and they have to be pretty good at communicating. Um, but anyways, if anybody knows of a QA job where they would like somebody with my kind of skills, please reach out. Um, Definitely, I think I'm definitely going to be looking for a new job very soon, like as in right now. Anyways, um, so now I have my mesh and I have everything's going good. It's going real good. So I want to run, I want to use my service, which I believe it's just called this.service or something. Or maybe it's just service. Yeah, service. Dot update mesh for animation. And that will accept my mesh, I believe, and my st mesh. Is that right? What did I do wrong? What did you do? Oh, I need an animation. Okay, so st mesh dot st animations, and I want to do x. And 0. The first one is 0. And so now it's going to st mesh is equal to st. Okay, so we don't really want to do that. And we were just doing that to prove a point, which I don't want to have to come back and try to figure out where that is later. So let's go ahead and get rid of that at the moment. We might end up with a console log. But just make sure it all just sort of compiles. Okay, and now what we want to do is we want to check to see if we want to expect, and I guess we didn't actually need to get a mesh because we have a reference to our mesh. So maybe those code changes that I did before aren't necessary. And I think we need like this, expect mesh dot, is it, what is that? That is a method. Dot x to equal dot x, and then it's like to equal 0. I think that's how we do that. And then Let's see if we pass. And then typically what you'll do is you'll do this. So you want, because you want like a failure. I don't think this console log is doing this any good now. You want like a fail to go from a failing state to a pass state, just so you can be sure it's working. So it should not equal 0 anymore. And what's nice is it should tell us, yeah, and 0.005 is exactly what we're expecting, right? So to equal 0.05. And so now I think, and this is where it would be nice if it was not failing before, but I think we'll get, well, we do have all our branches and everything. Um, but yeah, so now I've seen someplace sometimes where you'll get like, you won't get 100, like with older versions of this stuff, where you won't get um 100% on branches, because it'll be like it wants you to do the else of it, so you'd have to somehow force an else. It looks like they got away from that, which makes me very happy. Let me see, what if I do this and then I come in here and I go to coverage and I go to index.htm. So this is under 3. This is our new thing, and then we have our animation service. So yeah, I've seen a lot of times where you'll get I got called 31 times. I've seen a lot of times where it will give you like a negative on branches because you didn't do the else. Um, so that's kind of a pain, because this is a private and it's expecting an animation. So like to get it to do the else, but it is kind of good, because it's just like, I guess it does kind of test like an error situation, like where it got something that it wasn't expecting. But I don't know. This stuff's all pretty tight, so I don't think we need to worry about that. But so now we have we got 100% coverage again, and I even feel like we have a legit. I didn't think we really had a legit 100%, because like we'll lose it as soon as, well, I don't know. I guess, yeah, I think we'll lose it as soon as we break this out into its own. I don't know that for sure though. I'm definitely learning things as I go with this project, because what's happening is like I just haven't done unit tests in a while. So you know, um, there was like certain things I expected to break and not break that didn't break, and things like that. So anyways, this is good. I think we're ready to do a commit now. So I think it makes sense to kill this thing and sort of just go over all of our code. I don't think we want this downloads though. And that is always a, I don't know. I just don't even know what to think of this. Like a lot of times you'll see people sort of that don't understand commit get fairly upset, because you may be like, hey, don't check in your downloads folder, or and don't check in certain things, and then it's just like they don't really understand how to pull things out of their their commit and things like that. So it's just one of those things where but you probably don't want to commit any generated files, because it can just cause a lot of noise in that commit. So I'm kind of surprised I have all these new things I get. Wouldn't have expected that. Oh no, I did expect that, because we created a whole bunch of new these things, and I guess we added the watch to it, which that was actually very nice this time. All right, see if there's anything weird in here. Beard. I think this all looks good. I think we got rid of that. I don't think we want this anymore. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. Thank you, Rhett. Thank you for getting in. I guess I woke her up. Did I delete too much? I think I might have deleted too much. Yeah, I deleted the whole rendering. That would have got caught on the save, though, which is kind of nice. Now, it's weird. Okay, so it didn't even... Yeah, it didn't register as a change because all I did was delete commented stuff. So I think all of that looks good. I deleted a stray blank line, which I think makes sense. Now let's go with the index. Got a few extra blank lines in here that we don't need. Thank you, Rhett. I guess she woke up. She was pretty quiet for most of this. You were pretty quiet, Rhett. So I think that's good. I can't wait till we get all of these things sort of working, but we really can't. We really shouldn't until there's a UI to interact with this thing and upload and download and stuff like that. And I'm very curious with Cypress how I'm going to be able to handle uploads and downloads. I'm assuming, and this is just a gross assumption, that I'm going to have to do a download, and then wherever it downloads to, it'll have the ability to find that file and do an upload. But I don't think it'll be able to test changes on that file, but maybe it can. But then I'm assuming because I'm thinking if you change, I want to set it up to where when you change the UI, and if I do another download, and then I do another upload, that you'll get the new data and the new item. So anyways, that will be fun. Man, we did a lot of good stuff in this commit. I definitely don't think we're there yet. We're not at the done with getting started. At the very least, I want to have all of these like all of I want this thing to generate in its at least one. What what are you serious? Are you being serious back there? You think that's helpful? I don't know. It might be helpful. I don't think so. I don't think that screeching sound, that high pitched thing is helpful. And we deleted these gens, these console logs. So anyway, so that looks good. So let's just do a good git status, and we went over everything. So I think we're safe to do a git add and do a git commit -m, and then implements new interfaces and unit tests. Interfaces, animation, service, and unit, and updates, unit tests. I used to kind of do the unit tests like separate from updates, the testing updates separate from the git push, then from the like the code changes, and I do think that is, like, for me, like just a more pure approach, but I do feel like there's a problem with that, and the problem is that in some organizations they like cherry pick changes, and that if they want to do, if they like, it's I've experienced where the unit test didn't get cherry picked into the main branch, and because like somebody was just quickly and they just wanted the code changes, and they're like, yeah, I don't even know what these unit test things are, like you just never know who's going to be doing the cherry picking when there's like, I mean, there different places have different sort of situations, but different ways of sort of building out things, but a very common way especially when you have like a customer, like if especially if you have like a lot of different customers to the website, and you and you have to get like different approvals from different ones, and like you may have one that like they'll take 3 months to approve anything, but you have a different one that takes only a couple hours, like they need something out in a couple hours, then you kind of need to cherry pick their stuff into the branch that's going to be deployed. So that a lot of times that's kind of the way things are done. They things get tested, and then they sort of get progress through different stages, and then at some point someone just grabs all the pieces. I also worked at another place where like that's how they did like their features. So like they didn't want the features to be like they had all kinds of different customers with different websites. It's not all the same website with different customers on the same website, but different customers with different websites, and they didn't all have all the same features. So what they would create is a branch for each one of the customers, and then they would cherry pick the features as commits. They were basically merged branches that were merged, but they would just pull the core pieces and then all the different pieces, and then that code would never even get put into their branch. Um, so, like I said, there's a bunch of different ways. It makes sense. I think it makes sense to separate your commits of your code from your commits of your unit tests and your other tests. But if you do want them sort of to be together, you don't ever want them to be separated, then you probably want to put that in one commit. Anyways, everybody, let's see, how long was that? I have fun. All mine are gonna be long for a little while now because, like I said, I'm gonna have some more time on my hands. So I used to, and I do believe like if I'm just okay. So it used to be that whenever I was searching for something to learn how to do something like tutorials on YouTube or whatever, um, I would uh, I would only watch videos that were like less than maximum 5 minutes, but probably 3 minutes would be perfect. And like if it was just something I was absolutely desperate to learn, I cannot find anything up to maybe 10 minutes, because I found that if people are going any longer than that, then there's probably they're not really, they're just meandering around, which is exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just meandering around. This is not a tutorial. This is just an example of someone writing code, and then just sort of my thoughts as I write the code. Um, but like for a tutorial, I want a short, but I don't even do that anymore because like why? Like you just ask ChatGPT, and it will go searching through everything and um, find like sort of the most accepted answer. Because that was always another problem, is like what if I found something on YouTube which was very effective, but it was like some sort of anti pattern or just something that everyone hates or whatever. But like with ChatGPT, you will find of all the existing answers out there what the most popular answer is, and then you can try it out. But anyways, yeah, so my videos are gonna go long. um it's just very like therapeutic for me and all that, and I guess this is really more about me than about like being a tutorial. Like this is me learning how to put my abstract coding skills into words. That really is the main reason. And if a side effect is that some soul out there, and bless you if there is someone, um, like learn something, that like if that side effect happens, then that's all gravy. That's great. But anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.